Oh man, we're diving in, boys. Let's go. We've got to cap out season 2 finale. We've got 2 of our boys that collaborated with Qashus himself on the hands down best hip hop and rap music video out in 2021. Ladies and gentlemen, I bring to you the producer, the creator, the singers, the behind the music. Bim bim boom boom bop. We got Risham and Avnash on the show, baby.
What's up, baby?
What's going on, baby?
Great to be here. Great to be here.
My guy.
You too. Just a little bit of that action.
Oh yeah, what are we talking about? Let's
Here we go.
Social distancing? No, anyway.
We're not getting into that. We're not getting into our political beliefs.
Let's put it this way. Before we roll in, guys, I want to say that this episode is, of course, brought to you by and sponsored by DMSK. Now, for those of you wondering, you're probably thinking, what does DMSK stand for? I was thinking the same thing. So I asked the owner himself, Sean Kanungo, and I thought, maybe, if you recall, Avnash, DMSK would stand for...
Don't make shit crazy.
Yeah. So I thought, don't shit make crazy. And I thought, yo, this makes sense. So Sean told me, this is super cute for the couples out there. He said that it's his wife's and his initials. That's badass.
That's actually very sweet.
You know, so I have my phone out because I'm not too sure how to say his wife's last name correctly, but it's Deepa Masuria Sean Kanungo.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
That's nice.
And they made...
Yeah, it's such a great acronym too. DMSK, like, it's like DKNY. It's just, you don't even
And that's the thing, bro.
Yeah.
They made a beard oil. You know what I mean? Like, these guys want to make sure... Go ahead.
I'll take some.
That's a lot, bro.
No, pass
That's
it
a
over.
lot.
It's okay.
It's
Pass
nice.
it
You know
over.
what's nice about this beard oil? Oh shit, my face is a little wet.
Yeah. As you
You
can
put a
see,
lot, bro.
It's okay.
if you're watching this, they want to make sure with Moroccan oil, vitamin B, vitamin D, vitamin A, all the vitamins,
All the vitamins.
that your beard is just smooth, silky, and ready to go. And every single time you put it on, you have to ask yourself, what does investing in myself look and feel like? So if you want to find out more about DMSK, check it out on dmsk.com and get your beard oil ordered to you directly. And
For all the brown guys with crazy beards, this is for them.
well, I don't know. Let me ask you guys as an opener. Would you actually go beardless right now?
Right now, I can't even grow a beard properly, and I wouldn't go beardless now. So, I think I've answered the question for the rest of the room. I don't know.
I can't rock the beardless. I went for it a couple months back.
Yeah,
Not
like
a good
clean
look.
shave. I clean shaved last year,
Not
and
a good look.
it was I looked like a lesbian, which is not a bad thing. No offense to lesbians, I just don't want to look like one. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I can't do it.
Do you remember when you did and you instantly regretted it?
Oh yeah, 100%. Well, I used to actually not have a beard in university. And then when I rocked the beard, I was like, whoa, I look completely different.
You're a rapper
I
now.
look better now.
I started rapping. I mean, you grew the beard, and you're like, I can rap.
Yeah.
I can probably.
If you
spit
look
some
good,
bars.
good clean shave though,
Yeah.
you can rock anything.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
word.
A girl once told me it's kind of like makeup. It's like when we just cover up this little area
Yeah.
here.
That's it.
So I was giving her heat for makeup, and she's like, "Look at you guys."
It's a confidence booster, man. I think as when you're transitioning from a boy to a man, like for females, they go through their transitions, right? For males, when we have our beard, it's a rite of passage. Like you don't want to get rid of that thing. And then when you do, because you feel like it gets too fuzzy, you regret it. You know, so you start to shave off a little bit. And I always shave off way too much, like more than I'm supposed to. You know, like, when you don't have any of those extra, the 2, the 3, the 4 that the barbers have, you lose them, you don't know where they end
Your
up.
trimmer comes with that. I assure you.
No, I know, but I lose them. I don't know where they end up, man.
Dude, there's some that have it built in. You just flick a switch on the trimmer, and then it just has it built in.
That's our next sponsor, man.
DMSK, get on it. Get on it. Don't make shit crazy.
Oh man, that's clutch. Well, hey, I want you guys to talk a little bit about how you guys collabed. You 3 got together. You guys created a hit song. It's got, I believe, over 25,000 views on YouTube right now.
50.
Holy, okay.
In like 3 days, you get 40.
50,000.
Probably when this comes out, probably 100. We never know, man.
Absolutely.
You never know.
So guide me through, whoever wants to share a little bit about what that collaboration felt like. What was that for you? Because it was like production-wise, I bet for both of you guys. And for you, for sure, Avnash, your first production, and for Omid, probably like you put the most amount of energy into this.
For the video, yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
It
So
was
guide me
actually-
through what that was like.
Dude, it was actually it was a really fun process. The funny part is it wouldn't happen if it wasn't for you. The whole song, the song wouldn't have existed because I had that beat from Risham like probably a year before we actually spat anything on it, and I remember I was telling Omid, and Omid heard the beat and he's like, yeah, we got to do something. He had the extended version, but he's busy, I'm busy. We just never got to it. And then one day I was visiting, I don't know if it was like Christmas holidays or whatever it might have been, and I came down and I was just showing you all of my recent tracks. And then I was like, and then you were like, man, you have to collab with Omid. And I was like, I have a beat that we've been sitting on for like a year and we need to get this done. And so then you sent him a snap or a video of some sort, and you were just like, yo, you were like, give me Omid, why aren't you rapping on this? And then I get a text from this guy like 3 hours later, he's like, we should probably make that song. And so while I was still in Edmonton, we linked up. We actually went to our good friend Andre's studio. Well, I just met him that day, but beautiful studio. And
we met at Andre's driveway for the first time.
Yeah.
I'm messaging this guy back and forth.
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, like, where's your verse at? Like, you know, I haven't heard your part yet. Would love to hear, because I had mine prepped. I sent it off to this guy, right?
Yeah.
Just like raw on the phone. And he's like, oh no, it's all good, bro. I'm just gonna show up and I'll spit my verse. And I'm like, what? Like I'm not very like planned, calculated. Like you go in. And this guy's, oh, yeah, no worries, bro. I'm like, okay, I don't know what's gonna happen. I have no idea. I don't even know what we're gonna make here.
Yeah.
And then I met him outside Andre's studio, and then we chopped it up. And
we dapped it up. We went inside, and then I heard Omid's part because he had sent me the tech, like the lyrics, and then he had showed me like what his flow was gonna look like. And so then we went inside, had the beat, and I was like, I like to work kind of systematically, but also it's like organized chaos. So then I got this guy to just spit his entire thing, the whole thing, and then I listened to what he was saying, and I was like, what if we went back and forth on this? And he's like, yo, if you want to do it, let's do it. Like, let's go through that. And so we chopped up. Yeah, so I chopped up his verses where we thought sounded good, and he was like, yeah, that sounds good. Split it up just so I had room for my verses. And then I just got there and I just started like writing / like just spitting what sounded good to me. And then like maybe hour and a half later, I was like, here you go. Here's like, what do you think? And we're just in the studio like, wow. We're like,
so this is it. Okay, so I go, you know, it's like, okay, let's warm up, let's do our thing. So I spit my entire thing. Right, I spit about the entire verse, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, we should go back and forth. And I'm like, hey, cool. And he's like, give me an hour. I'm like, this guy's like, give me an hour, okay? In the studio,
Yeah.
right? So KB's there, Andre's there, Wells is there. And I'm like, okay, we'll see what he puts together. He hasn't written anything. So me and Andre are in the back, me KB are talking, whatever. Hour goes by. This guy's in his headphones, right? You can't hear any music. So I'm like, I don't know what this guy's cooking, right? He's recording a little bit, then he's going back. He's recording a little bit, then he's going back. And then like an hour goes by and he's like, I got it. And we're like, dude, I'm so excited to hear what you chopped together, right? And he plays it and we're just like, whoa, like it's insane. Like, you know, like a light bulb moment goes off and you're like, holy shit, this sounds fire.
Yeah.
Way better than you ever expected.
I've been right on the spot too. And me knowing you, do you just feel like you flourish under pressure? Like, is that something where if you needed to create something on demand right at that moment, we're back in McEwen days, projects due tomorrow, and you still haven't gotten anything done, but it's 1 a.m. and you know that you gotta come up with something. So does that just work for you? Like,
so yeah, in a lot of ways, yeah. Like I like to just kind of go on the fly. I'm a very on the fly, spontaneous individual. I like to just, if something comes up, I'm like, sure, let's do it. But I'm also realizing at this point in my life, there's things that, you know, require planning. My brother just got married. That you cannot do that shit off the cuff entirely, okay? You have to, can't just shoot from the hip and hope it all turns out okay. You gotta really plan everything. So like, some things definitely require planning, but yeah, when it comes to that creative process of making music, yeah, it's just a matter of like this guy will just send me a beat and it's just like, yeah, we'll just I'll walk into the studio with nothing written, or I'll take his beat and I'll listen to it in the shower. Thank God for waterproof phones. I'll listen in the shower and I'll just be like, and then I'll later text him as I'm walking out the shower. I'm like, I'll send you something in 15 minutes. And then he gets like a banger. And you're like,
if
wow.
this guy's in the shower, I know I got some heat coming my way.
I'm like, come in. Why don't you come join me? Come on, get in here.
If I'll send a beat over iMessage. Just gotta be like, give me 15 minutes. I'm about to take a shower. I'm like, oh fuck, here we go.
That's jokes.
Yeah.
There's the shower thoughts though, man.
It's the shower thoughts, but we didn't finish the story because me and him, we took this, we just exported the track, bumped it in our cars, and we took it home. We're just texting, like, wow, just wow. And I was like, Omid, just wait. I was like, the mastermind Resham is gonna do his thing to this track, right? And so I just send off Resham all the stems, all the files that he needs for this mixing. And this guy's turnaround time when he's not busy, I have to say that, when he's not busy, is like just ridiculous. So this guy goes, gets like a rough draft of the mix done, we listen to it, and I was like, this is madness. This is madness. And I remember, Omid, you were kind of like iffy on the cuts and stuff like that at first, right? And Karam, our friend Karam, was like, no. He came over actually that night. It was me, Danny, you weren't there though. And then we were all listening. And he's like, Omid told me he didn't like the cuts. I was like, I love the cuts. And Karam's like, yeah, I told him the same thing. He's like, I love the cuts too much. He's like, the cut beat cuts, like, you know, when the beat cuts in and out, and like,
because
for
what
example,
happened was like, since the way they did it is they chopped up his stuff and then you inserted, I was gonna say some bullshit, but you inserted like your verses in between his, right?
Yeah.
So the transition between him and him, it was like, he was mentioning it wasn't completely smooth. So I wanted to do something with the instrumentation to make that transition smooth between the two guys.
Yeah, like we're bouncing back and forth. The beat cuts like when he says his last bar, and then it drops when I start saying.
You'll notice it, Kenny. If you listen again, you'll notice certain pauses in the beat and like little transitions that Raysham put together.
That was intentional.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Everything's intentional.
So what you guys did it off of in the studio was a very similar mix to what then Raysham
I think what I sent
perfected.
was like an 8-bar.
or was completely different.
At the time that
Damn.
the beat that we had, so the way we make our music is not like you can flesh out a beat and make it all masterful, but you're gonna spend probably an hour, 2 hours making that beat and making it sound real nice. But what we like to do is, I'm like, Raysham, send me a rough copy of whatever you're working on, and if there's an earworm or something that sticks out to me, then we'll run with that. And so sometimes he sends beats, and I'm like, I don't think that one's the one for a hit. And sometimes he sends one, I'm like, holy shit, I'm going to the studio right now. Like, I'll just be laying in bed at like 11:30, 1 a.m., whatever it might be, and I'll be like, I'm getting up. I'm got to do something so I don't forget. Because sometimes he just sends something. A lot of the time, he sends something where I'm like, this has to get done. Yeah. Like, there's a reason we have 100 songs in the vault. But then, so we had the song, we had the mix, sounded good, and Omen's like, we have to shoot a video for this, right? And I'd never shot a music video in my life. I'm like, yeah, let's do Q Films Media. Yeah, let's do this shit, right? Yeah, this dude, it changed everything. It actually, you made, but also fucked up my year because I had all these songs and I'm like, yeah, one song a month we're gonna drop. Then we dropped Savages and I saw the success because it was such a banger of a video. I'm like, I need videos for all these songs. I'm like, what am I gonna do?
That's the Turjam marketing.
You ruined
That's the
it,
thing, bro.
I was like, oh man. I was like, now I need that. So then that's why we did like the Let 'Em Die video. And now we have all these songs that we are planning on shooting videos for. But dude, Omid made it feel effortless. He's like, I got us a warehouse. We show up. He has his buddy Adriel there. Adriel's an incredible talent as well. He was behind the camera while me and Omid were doing our thing. And it was wicked. We did it in 2 parts. The first day was just me and Omid. Second day, you guys all came through and we had those awesome shots.
I love that spray bottle,
the
bro.
spray
That's
bottle
my
brand is
favorite,
unreal,
bro.
man.
If you guys want to see me do something really special with the spray bottle, check out Savages right now. Press pause. If you're not driving, check out the Savages video and check me out with that spray bottle. 'Cause that's my favorite part, bro.
The link will be in the description, I presume. Yeah. But that's pretty much what happened for that one. Then I remember when Omid was like, "Oh, this video's sick," and everyone had seen this damn video. He's like, "This video's sick. We just finished editing." I'm like, "Yeah, send me a teaser. This guy uploads a teaser to Instagram publicly. I'm like, I still don't know what the fucking video looks like. I was like, what am I gonna do?
The first time I saw it though, man, I was like, I've never seen a music video like this.
Yeah, straight up.
This was like different for me.
Yeah.
It was hard.
Yeah.
Everything you needed it to be.
Yeah, it was like Cole Bennett, like Lyrical Lemonade styles. Like,
What inspired you to make that the music video? Did you just work off of what you had on it?
So normally how I come up with the music videos or any kind of video in particular is I'll get something that's something that inspires me to like reference off of, to get the mood and the vibe going, right? So the music video that I looked at was Off D's by JID and J. Cole.
yeah.
Nice.
It's black and white, and their shirts and their face is colored, and then like weird animations like pop out of nowhere. And I was like, yo, like for Savages, it's like a gritty, grimy. It has to be a grimy video, right? It has to have that grime feeling to it. So I was like, okay, black and white for sure. But how do we like not just like put black and white in simple transitions? Like how do we like really make it pop? And Adriel, actually shout out to Adriel, Streneth is director Streneth.
Yeah.
I talked to him and I was like, yo, this is what we're going for. What do we need to do to get it to there? And then, kind of gave him the concept and I was like, hey, as long as I find a warehouse, we can make it grimy enough.
Yeah.
And so we ended up doing a rough cut. And the rough cut you guys haven't seen because it was just rough. Black and white, little bit of transitions, and I was like, this isn't good enough. Like we need to add more. So we had 3 revisions of the video. And then the last time he came over, we added those little animations, like when I say Dennis the Menace, the little Dennis, Dennis pops up. The timer where you talk, time is up, and the timer comes out. The glass shattering, like all those were like the very final polished pieces. And then I was like, okay, this is honestly, if I had like another 3 months, I could probably make an insane video. Like we could sit and like re-edit, and make like a Cole Bennett video type.
Yeah, but dude, when we are full-time rappers, that's gonna happen, man. That's how it's gonna be. We're gonna just sit down, spend 3 months on a video, and just really make this shit pop.
We talked about this all the time. We're like, we'll look at a song from back then, and we'll be like, oh, I could have done the mix better. Could have changed this verse.
Yeah,
or like,
always.
could have done something. But I'm like, there's a certain time, there's a place where you're like, you know what? I'm gonna release this, give it out to the public, taking some like feedback, criticism, and then I'm gonna take that and make the changes I want to make.
Totally. I think I talked about this with you, Qashus, when we were saying how anytime you put something out, you hope at that time you put it out, you know it's your best.
Totally.
Because you're only going to get better.
That's so true.
Right? It's like anything. I look at that with same thing with competing in jiu-jitsu. You know, I hope I'm a better competitor 1 year from now. And I know when I look at my matches last year, I'm going to be like, oh, why didn't I do inverted guard? Because I didn't know it then. You know, it's the same thing. You're just going to add new tools and new skill sets, even in whatever craft you do.
Totally, man.
Right? And I think that's why I shout out to even you, Avnash, because maybe you weren't, you can admit to this or not, consciously ready to be in a music video yet. You're just starting to like go through the steps and phases of being like, all right, I'm out as a rapper. Let me just deal with this first. Let me just come out and say that, all right, guys, like this, I've been hiding under the closet, but this is what I'm doing.
I'm trapped
right?
in the closet.
And then you get asked to do a music video. So you tell me, were you low key kind of like uncomfortable with recognizing that you're about to do a music video? Because it's just, to a degree, yes, it's exposure, it's good exposure, but maybe you weren't ready for that kind of exposure yet.
Honestly, no, I loved it. Like I love making music, and music videos are like some of my favorite things to watch. So, and I love watching the creative process, and also now like watching that get filmed, like, you know, watching Adriel Streneth do everything that he was doing, and then like Qashus was like, you know, really behind the scenes as well, making sure everything was just right. Like now, every time I watch someone with a camera, I'm noticing the things that they're doing, the shots that they're getting, you know, why they're doing what they're doing, and it makes me very cognizant. And then every time I listen to one of my songs now, I'm like, oh, that would be a sick shot, that would be a cool shot. So it kind of, for one, it was like a great exposure in terms of a learning experience and knowing, you know, that next step in that creative process. But then the next part of that is, it's just fun music is fun. At the end of the day, like, yes, blowing up is the end goal, and it would be awesome if that happens, but we started doing this shit because we love the music, you know what I mean? It was me, like, for not that long ago, it was like me, Risham, and Gurman B, and we were just like, you know, making songs together.
Fly Away, bro, I still hit that heavy. I've been on some runs, I'm like, fly away, you're never gonna run away, bro. I'm like, man, my legs are dead so many times. I actually listen to it for motivation.
40 kilometers in, you're just like, run away.
Bro, I want a bird to fly me away at
That's
that point,
amazing,
bro.
man.
Like, it's a motivational song. You know those heartbreak slow songs you need when you're going at a slower pace? That's what you slap on Amen, bro.
I've never heard anyone running to Far Away.
Yeah.
Far Away is like, you know, it's like 3 a.m. Your girl just broke up with you. There's like, fuck it, let's crank this shit and go home.
Bro, you feel the same when you're 40 clicks in. You feel the same, bro. It's a different kind of heartbreak, bro. Like, you start asking yourself, why the fuck am I here right now? Like,
That's hilarious.
play Far Away, bro. Because you feel like you're running far away. Right? You're just done, man.
Yeah.
It's a good song.
That's awesome. It's cool for us to look at other people hearing what we made in a bedroom.
Yeah, we make this in our,
like $100
before the Adriel
mic,
studio, we had never been in another studio. I had never set foot in a professional, this was even in a house, but it looked like a professional studio. It was pretty much.
Andre's studio is an abnormality.
Yeah.
Like that is like,
that's not a home studio.
Professional as it gets, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like you never, like even I wasn't, like I've been in studios all over the city.
Yeah.
And I hadn't seen anything like that.
Yeah.
So I was like, wow.
Two booths. He had 2 booths. He had a booth for a drummer, and then he had a booth for vocalists. And I was like, we can do both. And then we decided to just record in the room instead. I was like, okay, this is like.
We didn't even use the booth.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
That's insane. I want to get all your guys' opinion on this because I think how you said it was very beautiful. Let's recognize it. There's listeners out there who might, you know, rap with their homies and they might do what we always do where we drop a beat and then we slap something. And there's going to be that one goat, right? Where everyone's like, yo, man, when you gonna like finally, you know, you got all the raps in your notes and you spitting it all up. When are you going to go out there? When are you gonna like show people your talents? But he's like, no man, not ready yet. Like almost you 5 years ago, right? But you're like, yo, this is it, I'm gonna do it. Yeah. It's sick to see. So if we can motivate someone to actually do what you're doing and what you're doing and what you're doing and just push them over the edge a little bit and not be afraid. Because let's be honest, there's that fear. I don't know if you guys ever felt that. I have. Right? Before podcasting, I would want to talk and have these deep level conversations. Part of me was worried still sometimes to this day. What are people going to think? Yeah. Right? Are they going to like it? Are they going to dislike it? Right? But you still do it anyway because you love it. But I want to know from each and every single one of you guys, what would be your advice to that person who just heard you say that you weren't fearful of the music video? In fact, you took it on as a learning opportunity. You know, despite however way it goes, you have to get your first music video done anyway. You have to put out your first song, whether it's good to you or not. It's just got to get done. So what's your advice to someone out there who clearly is good at it or they have potential, but they're fearful of putting it out there because they're worried about, let's just say, what people think, or they're worried for other reasons. What would your advice be?
Even if you're good, even if you're bad, like everyone starts somewhere, man. There was a time where freestyling I was not good at. You know, like I would just get in my car, put on whatever I was listening to for that day, and then I would just turn it down just enough so I could hear the beat, and I would just rap. And it would suck. It sucked for a while, but then eventually you kind of pick up things. You learn how wordplay works. You start to, you study the game, and you realize where it goes, right? So for me, or any creative pursuit that anyone really takes, I think it's super important to just be comfortable with putting yourself out there, even if it sucks, man. It's like a catalog for yourself. Like we listened to some of our songs that we first released, like Far Away, for example, and we're like, this song is not that great. Like I love the song, it's still a vibe, but the mixing and like my vocals and everything, we're like, we could have done so much better. But you look back, and now you look at songs that we're releasing today, or we have planned released for next month, and we're like, look at that, like look at that progression. And so for anyone that wants to try and chase a creative pursuit, I say just do it. Just get started. Even if you just start in your bedroom and you're practicing, that's all it takes. And as soon as you feel like even that little inkling of putting it out there, even if you don't feel it ready yet, just put it out there, see the feedback. You'll actually see how much support there is, and it just gives you enough to keep going. You know what I mean?
Totally.
That's my advice, is just go for it, because we live in a life short, and we're really pretty insignificant. And so if you can, man, make the difference that you can in whatever big or small way that you can.
Love that.
Yeah.
For me, it was like, yeah, so similar with me, when we started releasing songs, like specifically for us, I remember telling him, he's like, yo, let's release this. I'm like, bro, it's not ready. I don't like the mix. The master's not loud enough. If I play it compared to these other commercial songs, it doesn't sound the same. The kicks don't hit as hard. The bass isn't as loud. I was like, the vocals aren't right. And so he's like, man, let's like, fuck it, let's just release it. And I remember the night we released Far Away.
That was crazy.
I mean, like we were making songs and listening to them in the car, and then we would switch back to like the Drake album we were listening to, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then it got to a point where we were making these songs, and we were like actually listening to them on the way to the gym and on the way to the work, to work, right? So I was like, man, I'm actually genuinely like these songs. Mm-hmm. I felt like they were good enough to release, and we just did it. And then the reaction we got from our followers, like it was just Instagram. We were posting it on Instagram. Hey guys, we just dropped, and people are storying our posts. And other people are sharing with other people, right? And it's like, look at the love. Like there could be a lot of people out there that say it's not a great song, but the love we got was like, dude, we got to push this thing, you know? And it feels good, and that's the only way you're going to grow.
Yeah, 100%.
You miss 100% of the shots you don't take, right? So take that mentality with you and just get out there and do it.
Yeah, and a huge shout out to Gurman too, man. I think if Gurman didn't start, because we were making music for a while, just rapping, putting tracks together, and then Gurman was like, I want to rap too, and so he started rapping, singing with us, and then that's what kind of, once we had like, because then we ended up with songs, you know what I mean? Like before we were just doing like freestyles, hooks weren't really important. Gurman really brought like the singing aspect into our music a little bit, and then as a result of that, we were like, we felt like we had hooks. We felt like in Far Away, for example, I wasn't really much of a singer. I still rely on autotune at times, right? Sometimes we go without it, but Gurman really brought that like, melodic approach to it, which was awesome. And so being able to, he's switched into Punjabi music. You've heard his songs, Gurman B, you've heard his songs, right? He's absolutely killing it in the Punjabi industry. And it's crazy to see how it all comes together, and how he pushed us, and then we pushed each other, and then now it's just taken on its own form. And rather than it just being like a hobby that we do on the side, it's like it's a small business that you're trying to scale and grow. You know what I mean?
I actually saw your Instagram story. You actually, like, you guys were outside the hall the other day.
Yeah, I was just thinking of that.
And you have like a beat on your phone, and he's just going.
He killed it.
Killing it.
Right
spot.
from scratch. He was ready. You remember that
I
over?
do, yeah, I was thinking.
Oh, and it was good. Like you could
yeah.
hear the passion in his
Right?
voice,
Yeah.
man.
And think of, that's the same guy that had a voice note of him driving, singing.
Yeah, he's just sending WhatsApp videos.
And he's like, do not share this with anybody.
Yeah.
And Avi shared it with me. He was telling Avi, don't share with anybody. He showed it to me, and I told Gurman, I was like, dude, you're unreal. And he's like, fuck.
Yeah.
So mad at Avi.
Why'd you do that?
And now he's doing the music videos.
Sometimes you need that. Look at where it started.
Yeah.
That's someone, point exhibit A, who felt like, I'm just going to keep it with the homies.
Totally.
Right? I don't want this to go anywhere. But let people hear what you're good
Yeah,
at.
straight up, man.
Right?
Well, I'll take a different approach to that aspect.
Yeah.
I remember when I started rapping, or at least writing, I needed those years to be by myself and write and make mistakes. I remember rapping to my cousins in the car and being like, what do you think? Or like recording it and then, and just like getting it to the close homies first. You know what I mean? And I think that now more than ever, everything online is so like, everyone's got it all, right? Or everyone's doing everything and it's so good So I feel like now it's a little tougher to put yourself out there, because you see, for example, someone sees Savages and they look at me like, oh man, like the quality's so good, the song is so highly produced, et cetera, but they don't know the 3-4 years when I was in my basement, just sitting there syllable by syllable trying to fix my flow and like scratching and like going over it again and rewriting and going back to these old, like these booths in the library for free just to get a free hour to record, not knowing how to mix because I'm not a producer.
Makerspace?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Makerspace. Yeah, I used to go there for years, man.
Yeah.
But like, again, you need that time to get the bad out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like people message me now and they're like, dude, you're really good, man. You got to keep going. It's like, bro, like go like 3 or 4 years back. Go back and like it's garbage compared to, you know what I'm saying? But I needed those reps. So I think the advice would be get the bad out. So continue practicing, go try stuff, send it to your homie, get feedback, get honest feedback, you know?
Yeah.
And then when you feel like you got somewhat of a decent voice or somewhat of a decent sound, okay, now put it out on Facebook. Now put it on Instagram. 100%. It's never going to be like, holy shit, who is this person? But to get to a point of, okay, you're confident in a little bit in your sound and your flow and what you're writing. So
Yeah, I feel like a lot of
What you just said there is just be clear on the foundation you need to build. And the foundation you're going to build is, it's so cliche to say, but get your reps in, right? Say it out loud, get it out of your head, get it out of your notes page on your phone. Do it in front of your homies when you're all just hanging out with a few couple beers deep and you got some liquid courage, right? Then, you know, take a shot at going on White Ave and performing in front of 20 people, right? That's for anyone. That's someone in comedy, that's someone who wants to compete, that's someone who wants to do rap. Like, I'll tell you guys one story. It reminded me of what you guys just said. I'll keep his, he's a really good friend of mine. I'll keep him anonymous just out of respect to him, but I'm sure he won't mind me sharing it. He's in a position where he is wanting to get into content. He wants to build it. And he's at a point in his life where he's persistent in recognizing that he needs and knows that this is for him. But there's that fear of approaching people. So he wants to get into a little bit of documentary-esque shooting, go to strangers, ask them like just deep, thought-provoking questions, right? Like one of them I thought was cool. He just wanted to go to people and be like, hey, like just genuinely, like camera in front of their face, ask for their permission. Hey, I just want to let you know and ask a question and see if it's okay to go out. Are you genuinely happy in life right now? Like just ask that and see where it goes, right? And just like, just asking. And he likes it because he's like, oh, like whoever asked that, you know? And I think, not to go off a tangent, but Omid in the previous episode talked about how you ask questions, right? Sometimes if you just say, hey, how's it going? In that high-pitched voice, that person's gotten so used to asking that they may not necessarily mean it. But now Sean, as a stranger, comes into play, goes and stops someone in their tracks at a dog park, and then goes, hey, how happy are you right now?
You didn't keep him anonymous, but
Yeah, I messed that up. But yeah, no, that's his anonymous name. So anyway, whoops. What I'm trying to get at is the advice that this person in my life got from Sean Kanungo, the creator of DMSK.
okay, so now he's really out there.
No, it's a different Sean. This is a different Sean. So Sean Kanungo went to this other friend of mine, and he said this, and this was brilliant. He said, listen, man, whatever you're afraid of, you got to understand that you're the main character of your own story, and everyone else is the main character of their own. So whether you decide to mess up or not, and you go out there and you want to talk to 10 people, and you feel embarrassed that they're going to say no, well, guess what? They're going to go home to bed that night, and they're going to have a billion other problems on their hands that comes first before thinking of the random stranger that came into their life and asked to be on a documentary they didn't want to be on. So he was just saying, like, man, at the end of the day, whatever you put out there at first, it's gonna be your 5 closest homies that are gonna care.
Exactly.
And
Get over yourself at the end of the day. Really.
And if no one likes it, then so be it. They're gonna go scrolling and continuing on, not caring what you just posted, or they will, great. But if not, don't worry about it.
And at the end of the day, like I think a lot of people get this. This is another thing for creatives is a lot of people care about what their friends, their family, what their immediate circle are gonna think. But like when we make songs, we're not like, I love that my friends listen to it, but we're not making it for them. We're making it for the world. You know what I mean? Ideally, we can set this to a world stage. We can scale it so we have, millions of fans that are just like coming to our shows and wanting to see everything. So you're not really like your nuclear circle or even your extended circle is really just a small part of the market, a really minuscule part of the market that you're trying to tap into. And so that's why I think all these other rappers can like go out there and just talk about like fucking bitches, money, cars, clothes that they don't have a lot of the time, because they think that they're tapping into a larger market. They're tapping into an aspirational market. They're trying to get a lot of people to go for it. And there's nothing wrong with that music, but it's just they know they actually recognize more than even I do or a lot of people do at this point that you're tapping into on a global scale, and it's not, you don't have to just impress the people in your hometown. It's you're trying to go across the country, across North America, and wherever else it takes it.
Now you bring a crazy point. Have you guys seen the movie Gully Boys?
Gully Boys? No, I haven't.
You both have to watch Gully Boys.
Yeah.
It's like that. You've seen
Yeah,
it, right, Omen? You told me.
Yeah.
This movie is like the Eminem version of Bollywood.
It's like 8 Mile.
It's like 8. Yeah, that's what it is, man.
No, but is 8 Mile better or is Gully Boys better?
I don't know. I feel like if you're South Asian, you'll appreciate Gully Boys. But then if you're not, you're gonna be like, this is just a rip off of stupid. Like,
Exactly.
it depends on what ethnic background you're coming from. But when you said that when you're rapping about like, the whole pussy, money, weed thing, right? And people have those phases and they want to like get involved in that because they think that's what's like, everyone's rapping about. You have to figure out first, okay, is that what you're about? Is it really what you're about? If it is, all right, go ahead, go pussy, money, weed. If that's really who you are, chalo, no problem, right? But if you're like, gully boy from the slums in Mumbai and you've been like, living off of $10 a day and your dad goes to you and says, I'm broke, so are you. Stop this rap journey. You gotta recognize that you're gonna be as broke as me, and that's your story. Okay, then rap about that. So the cool thing about what you shared is no matter how global your audience gets or how tiny it is, be authentic and like rap about who you are. Like go back home and figure out. And that's why when I reference this movie, because I loved it, because the gully boy, the main character, he got all sad, right? He got all sad boy. He went to his buddy who saw potential in him, and he's like, oh, bhaiya, main nahi hai rich, main nahi hai, girls don't like me. Also, I don't have money. Also, no experience, no degree. Main ki hai, I'm nothing, right? He's like, what am I? And his friend's like, you bloody idiot. He's like, you're gully boy. You come from slum. You come from nothing. You have story. You have merit. You have everything that you have in your life. Just like motivated him and just said like, your story is who you are. So share it. Tell the world what it's like. Tell them about what it's like having a father that thinks he's so below you, and you're right. Or sorry, thinks that you're just as below as he is. And then like it's just cool. Like even from a movie perspective or a creative perspective, is like you got to remind yourself that whatever you're putting out there, you're sharing a story. I think that's what it's so beautiful about all of you.
I think what people forget is that there's levels to this shit.
There's levels.
You know what I mean? Like there's levels to it, and it depends on what level you are. And when you look at other people and you start comparing yourself, that's where you lose.
100%.
You know what I mean? Like just sit internally and just start building. Like this rap shit, this stuff that we do now, this production, this wouldn't have happened if I was just starting out right now. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like we wouldn't have this space to chat. We wouldn't have this, like this wouldn't have manifested. Had I quit 2 years into the rapping or the media, right? So if I would have compared myself to J. Cole at the time or Logic or any of these big rappers or media moguls and stuff, and be like, man, they got a production crew and they got all this, they got all these producers wanting them and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, man, I would have lost. I wouldn't have lasted to this point. So I think that's a problem with creatives too, is that they look and they're like, I'm not good enough. My shit isn't good enough. I can't post this. Our mutual friend too, you got to get those reps in. You got like, it doesn't even have to be posted. Don't post it. Show it to your friends. You know what I'm saying? Have a, viewing party or whatever. And that's the thing, is just getting the bad out, and then you'll get to the good.
Even honestly though, like even when there's like, so people, even in music, people will never really remember what you said. Sometimes people will be like, oh, that was a bar, but that's like a niche kind of music fan. A lot of people, they don't remember what you said, but they'll remember how they felt when they were listening to your song. And so that's why artists like Travis Scott are so successful, because when you listen to, you put on Astroworld or Days Before Rodeo and you're listening to that front to back for the first time, you're like, wow. Like there's nothing lyrically that grabs me there, except like say for a few songs, but the experience of it, the way it made me feel, I'm always going back to Days Before Rodeo even, and I'm just like, wow, this is truly like a project. And so it doesn't always have to be about the bars. It doesn't always have to be about the lyrics. Sometimes it's about a feeling. You know what I mean? It's about really just getting something off your chest. And when you're able to do, that's where Travis Scott really taps in. Is there's a lot of people that can just say words with auto-tune on it and that's it. But the way he's able to, take advantage of his melodies, he's able to tell a whole different story without really using words that much, right? He's doing, like reverb, echo, out the, just crazy falsettos and stuff like that. But it makes you feel some sort of way. I remember the first time I heard Sicko Mode, and Drake comes in and you say yeah, and you're like. What the fuck Drake did, because it had no features, right? It just had Sicko Mode. And you're like,
Drake
this
literally
is
started that song. He's like Astro, and I'm like,
Astro.
oh my god.
I remember I was with my cousin Sahib, and he was driving, and we were in his car. He has a great sound system in this Lexus, and we just hear Astro, and we're like, Drake? and that was the third song on the album, and we had just heard Frank Ocean, and we're like, this guy's playing no games with features, man. I was like, holy shit! Like it was really, it was madness, man. There's levels to this shit, and in more ways than one. And I think that if the music that you put out there, it's reflective of who you are as a person, or even if it can set a mood of the way you're feeling in that moment, and you can share the way that you're feeling with millions of people, or the tens of people in your city, whatever.
My ten.
It doesn't. That would be awesome. It's just about sharing that feeling, right? Like I have Closure, for example, or Savages. Savages is getting people pumped in the gym. Closure is people letting them in on my life and letting them know what we're going through, right? And then you got songs like Savages is pretty rowdy, man. I keep thinking about Savages. I'm like, man, we go off on that one. Like that was a good song.
That's too good.
Yeah.
I want to pick Resham's brain about this though, because Resham comes from mainly being the producer of the music. You also obviously rap with Avnash, but from what it seems, yeah, and I heard it. It was good.
Yeah, a couple other ones. Yeah.
I want to know from those who also are in your shoes of producing and creating the music, is it so much of what you love doing, knowing that potentially, I might be wrong here, you may not get as much of the fame that comes with being in the industry? Where do you sit with that? Do you kind of think about that? Let's be honest. I mean, maybe both you can agree. It's pretty exciting on the fact that you get to sing to a sick ass beat. You get to drop some bars. You got an audience in front of you chanting your name. Like there's part of the adrenaline rush you get and the excitement of knowing you get your name out there. I'm just wondering from your perspective, Resham, and knowing that if it doesn't come with that, is that accepted? Are you just like, well, I ain't doing it for them,
Dude, fantastic question. Yeah, it's true, man. Producers don't get the credit, but now they you guys would know this now. Now they do, man. People like Alex Tomei, Mixed by Ali, Kenny Beats, they are getting recognition for doing the shit they do. 40 as well, Drake's producer. They're getting the recognition now because people understand how we have the power to make someone sound like shit and make someone sound like that was recorded in a $2 million studio in a bedroom. That's on the producer, right? So I think that for me personally, you know what, man? Like I feel like when we started together, this guy would shout me out on fucking every track.
I still do, honestly. Even our
he still does. I think on every song we have, I'm mentioned in some way, shape, or form, right? And dude, honestly, for me, that's enough because when we got into this music shit, it was just me and him, right? And then Gurman came, and then we did the collab with Qashus, and it was fucking awesome. But when it was just me and him, he's like, bro, I'm taking you with me. He's like, we're in this shit together. And I know people look at me like I'm the producer, and I do a lot of the production and the mixing, but this guy sits in there in front of the screen and says, no, fade it out here, let's do this. He's part of the process 100% of the time. And Travis Scott, people don't know this, he's a producer too, right? So like a lot of these rappers are a huge part of the production. And for me, it's just I love to be a part of the ride, man. I don't really care about being at the in front of the lights and everything. But for me, it's like we were kind of talking about this the other day. There was an empty space in this room, and a few people walked into it, maybe me and him and Qashus, and there was this empty space, and out of that empty space, we made something that it's not tangible, but we created a feeling.
It's like painting.
Right?
Silence is our canvas.
Exactly. And it's and that is a really good feeling that no amount of fame or money could ever touch, because there's people that are famous and they have a ton of money and they're still living a shitty life, right? And for us, we can do the shit. We're not getting money off of it, right?
Sure.
$40.
You know?
Take my girl to Taco Bell. Let's go. Baby, this money's all wrapped. This meal's on wrap, baby. Don't worry. I got you, girl.
Well, like, it's not paying us really much, and it's not getting us really famous. It's not like we have 1 million followers on Instagram. But dude, we listen to our shit, and on the way to Walmart, we're walking to Walmart with a smile on our face, bro. Like, we just made that shit, And that feeling is so humbling. And when we see other people listen and laugh and smile and say, "Yo, that was sick, man. Yo, that's you." That's a really good feeling, man. The other day we were at, where did we go Saturday night?
Central?
Yeah, Central. And someone came out, he's like, "Dude, are you beat by Ray 6?" I was like, "Who the hell are you?"
Yeah, that was pretty classic, man.
And yeah, bro. I'm like, I'm from Vancouver. I'm not even from here. And someone said that, right?
Crazy.
And I was like, that's crazy because they saw us together, right? So like, I guess he recognized, but I was like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's a good feeling. But yeah, man, to answer your question, I love it. I love just being where I am with the music stuff, and collaborating is one of the best things that that this was our first other collaboration with German.
Exactly.
And it actually was awesome because that was the first time he had to actually bring it on some rap shit.
Yeah.
He's like, "Fuck, I'm going like
head to head.
you can't get body, you can't get body on the same fucking song."
I heard the guy's verse. I was like, "Fuck." I was gonna say, "Give me 30 minutes." I was like, "I need an hour."
Like on Off D's, you were talking about that earlier. Like Jid had to bring it. There's no way you're gonna let J. Cole outdo the little guy.
Yeah, you can't.
Right? Was that Off D's?
Off D's.
Off D's,
Yeah. And so I felt like in the same way it was like you were a bigger artist than Avi was at the time, and he was like, dude, I'm gonna fucking bring it.
Coming
I'm gonna
correct.
fucking bring it.
I'm gonna
And
watch
that's
this
a really
motherfucker.
good.
Yeah. we did tell that story about KB, how we made KB think.
What?
How we made KB think that we were fighting.
Yeah, we told everyone that was at the studio the other day. We're like, yeah, we didn't finish the track. We were like, we beefed. I wanted to do some melody.
Didn't you make a diss track?
I did make a diss track.
You
It's
did
called
make a
Fuck
diss
Qashus,
track.
but that will never see the light of day. That can never see the light of day. It's a joke though.
Bro, it's so funny. Okay, so we finished the track, man. We're like, oh my god, this shit's a banger. And then KB had left before Avnash's part. He's like, okay, I'm gonna go work out and come back. I want to see where this goes. And so we finished the track. KB's are still working out or whatever. And we're like, bro, we should mess with him. We should fuck with him. We should say that we didn't finish the track, and then we got into an argument. We just left halfway through the song. And I told Andre too, because Andre's super close with him. I was like, yo, Andre, you got to be in on this because I know KB's gonna text you. And then so I messaged KB, or I think it was Avnash, or one of us texted him and was like, yeah, man, because he's like, how's the song going? I want to hear it. Like, send it over. And I'm like, yo, bro, we didn't finish it. Like, Avnash isn't budging. He's super stubborn. Fuck this guy. I'm out. Like, I just left. And then he's like, what? You guys had such, you guys had such good chemistry in the studio before I left. And then he calls Avnash. Avnash is not picking up. He's like calling Avnash like 6 or 7 times. He's not picking up.
Not
and then
now,
he texts him like, yo, what happened? And then this man makes a diss track.
Yeah, I sent a diss track called Fuck Qashus, and it starts with Fuck Qashus. Fuck
He's like
Qashus.
singing it, bro. It's so jokes.
It's fucking jokes, man. Like, it's actually hilarious. Oh yeah.
I was like,
They
man.
wanted them to get along so bad.
I was like, do I have to choose one of them? Like, I gotta choose Zombie because we're getting second floor. But I love Avnash. I was like, it was a conflict, man. I felt like I was getting pulled like a noodle, bro. You know the cheese plate, bro?
You know why I want us to do that? Because KB pranks everybody.
Yeah, he always.
All the time, bro. He pranks everyone, man.
Yeah, bro.
And he was like, this is the first time someo's got me this bad.
Yeah, that's good.
He's like,
That's
I did
great.
not expect that from you.
Yeah,
bro. I was like,
it worked
Well
out
done.
real
Well done.
Yeah, we got him. That was fun.
But yeah, that collab is so important to do for music. I feel like you grow as an artist, and I think you came out of that a better rapper, dude.
And you came in as a producer. You used to mix someone else's vocals. You learned how to compress.
So we were thinking of like just getting it mixed by a professional, getting it mastered by a professional, and then like we actually paid for a professional master.
oh, really?
Wow.
And we were listening to it and we're like, you know what? I think I like our version a little better, right? So we just we did pay someone to master it, and we just kind of threw it in the trash and uploaded our own version to all the streaming services.
Damn. So you chose yours.
Yeah.
In
and that was,
comparison
like,
to
a
the
moment of growth
mastering.
for us, because I'm like, we had it it was just me and him, and now we have you on the vocals. And I'm like, shit, like, we gotta step our mix and match.
When I say
Yeah.
Ray 6 beats slapping harder than your stepdad, I'm not playing games. I mean that. I mean that. These beats will slap. I dare you to find me a stepdad that will slap as hard as Ray 6 beats, man. You're gonna be hard pressed. You're gonna be hard pressed to find that, man. I'm sorry.
I appreciate
I'm sorry.
that. I appreciate
I don't know if we're trying to tap into the stepdad market, but they're gonna be pretty offended by that.
Hey man, if he said what he said,
That's true.
you'd be fine.
Yeah, that's true.
For the listeners out there who want to be able to rap your beats, can they find it anywhere?
Yeah, man. Hit me up on Instagram. Beats by Ray 6.
Yeah.
We're always willing to work with like anyone who has the right attitude. That's all it comes down to, man. Attitude.
It's gonna cost you though.
You can teach someone. It's gonna cost you like 10 grand. I'm joking. I'll play it. But I love when people hit me up, like this happened before. I'll be like, yo, man, can you make me a beat? And you know they'll have their opinions on what it should be, and then you know if they send me a sample and they're just completely out of whack, you know I tell them they work on your craft a little bit, right? But if someone has the right attitude, dude, that's the best because you can grow with that kind of person, like Golda.
Golda's an incredible talent.
Right?
Incredible talent.
Like she has this voice that's just amazing, and she has the right attitude, and you can work with that, you know.
100%. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
totally.
Enough the skills, but if the personality isn't there, then that's possibly a reason not to collaborate.
Yeah.
It could be a cultural clash.
Totally, and you see like all these rappers, and they're always boasting, right? And they're always talking shit. And if you were like that with all the people around you in the studio, man, you're not gonna make a song.
No friends, man.
Right? You're not gonna have any friends in this stuff. And I think having friends, like, you know, you hear the saying like, no, there's no friends in this business. Bro, there are friends in this business. There is, and you have to have friends in order to get shit done.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you're never gonna do it all by yourself.
100%, man. Wholeheartedly agree. And everyone that I've actually ended up working with, I develop a close personal relationship. Like with Omid, like everyone, every single person that I have rapped with, I have gotten on FaceTime with, helped them download Logic, like bootleg. Well, it's real Logic, but they log in with my Apple ID to get it for free. And then I'm on FaceTime with them. Like I did this with Omid, like probably like 3-4 months ago. And you know, I teach them like how to like mix tracks. I show them the like a vocal template that they can just work with and play with. Right. Same thing with Golda. One day, you know, we just had a quick call. I explained to her like how to record the song. And she, you know, next thing you know, we're working together. And all these people are such cool, genuine people that you actually just, while you're talking to them and you're showing them things and you're sharing your screen, you're like, what are you up to? What's your life like, right? And you get to know these people real well. And I think that just overall helps the craft. It makes you want to work harder. It makes everyone want to, you know, work together. And next time, you know, say we hit up Golda, say we hit up Qashus, say, hey, let's make another song. It's like, yeah, let's get to it. Like, you know what I mean? We're all motivated to make something happen. Whereas if you don't really know someone, you're like, yeah, I'll get to it. And then life is busy. You have so many things going on. You probably will never get to it. You know what I mean?
And plus, if you're using someone else to just like try to do this, and you're using that other person, like, oh, let me just try to use this person as a crutch and you know, that's never gonna be good, man. You gotta be like trying to grow together like that, and not try to just use someone to get yourself somewhere else. You know?
So true.
Might not be right in the beginning, but you'll reach
Eventually.
someone who you
Yep.
otherwise, right?
Totally.
That's the thing. That's the tough thing about anyone being in the industry of partnership is you have to make sure that you put those walls down immediately. And you have to trust one another. And I think it's really unique, right? Like we're sitting in a room where you know Omid and I were on the same frequency of growing the podcast together. And there's times where I want to go one direction, he wants to go to another. We talk about that. I imagine the same thing for you guys. Our audience probably doesn't know this. You guys are cousins. You guys are blood.
Yeah.
That can work well in you guys' favor just as much as it cannot.
Yeah.
Right?
Totally, yeah.
What we've seen with generationally families getting in business with one another, and we'll keep it separate, or we'll try it, and then it doesn't work out. Would there be any advice you guys can share on what you guys have seen work well between both of you when it comes to collaborating?
Communication, man. It's like with anything in life, with family, friends, you know, relationships like that you're in, intimate relationships, whatever it is, man, it's just communication. If you can communicate where your head's at effectively to another person, and that other person is a rational human being, then you're gonna be able to get a lot further than if you just wanted to clash heads about everything, right? It's easy to critique something. It's very easy to critique something, right? But if I send Risham a song and he's like, yo, I'll get to this probably at the end of the week, I'm slammed right now, I got a lot of things going on. It's like, at least he let me know, you know, what's going on, right? If you communicate and you keep things going and you keep that relationship, and on top of that, like, especially when it's like me and Risham, like we came up together. There's this underlying love. You know, when we first made our first, like, I think it was $7 off Sundown, I texted him and I was like, I'm gonna take Gavin to Taco Bell. Do you want some of this money? I was like, what do you think, bro? I was like, what do you think? I was like, what do you think?
I'll e-transfer you, bro.
Like, it's just love, and you know, it's just communication and just bringing everyone together. Because at the end of the day, man, that's all the tool. That's the tool that we really have here, right? It's just showing people.
And Abby does this really well. Like, call people out
Yeah.
when they're out of line. Like, I remember my first time saying anything to you was back in like grade 8, and I think you were grade 9. And he's texting on the phone late at night, and I'm like, brother, I'm in town from Vancouver. I'm in Edmonton. I'm at your house. Please put the phone away. I just want to really hang out with you because I only see you once a year.
Yeah.
And he looked at the phone, he chucked it, and he's like, bro, you're fucking right. Let's talk all night long. And we did. And
It's
yeah.
good. It's,
And it was nerve-wracking for my kind of personality to call people out. Like, it's a little scary for me, but and some people just hit they can do it in their sleep, right? But that was like that's just a small little thing, but it goes a long way, right? So communication is probably like the number one thing to avoid. And you know what, have your intentions clear as well, right? That does kind of come back into communication, but tell people not only what you're thinking, but what your plans are for the future, what you would change in the past. 'Cause that's all that all needs to be
it's all
heard by the other
context.
party.
It gives context and it helps people understand you better, right?
Yeah.
If people can understand where your head's at. Sorry, what was that?
No, I was just gonna say, just adding on top of everything you guys said, is finding, you know, homies and people that you want to work with who are just as hungry as you. You know, and I've been putting myself out there a lot over the last 4, 5, 6 years, and just working with different types of people. But I think the last couple of years, just meeting Kenny and the homies, that all the guys are just hungry as fuck. And that's the people I want to be around with. And before it was like guys were like, oh yeah, like, yeah man, I'll send you your mix. Yeah man, I'll get to it. Yeah man, I'll get to it. And then 3 weeks passes by and it's like, dude, like, what's going on? I got to move to the next thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, and it was so frustrating, man. I'm like, man, these people just don't want it. Like, I want it. And this is the first time, even the reason this podcast is successful 2.5 years in is because he holds me to a high fucking standard.
Yeah.
And I hold, and vice versa. You know, so it's, I don't have to worry about, man, Kenny's not going to send me, you know, XYZ, or he knows that I'm gonna get the episode delivered. I know he's gonna get his parts delivered, and that's why it's like, hey, let's continue. I don't have to worry about him. If I don't have to worry about him, then I know that he's gonna bring it all every single time.
Yeah, accountability is important.
I swear to God, I thought I could write a book on love and getting roped and then getting unroped and then not being in that relationship anymore. I could write a book about love just being with Omen.
Yeah, bro.
You know, like, it would be like the book of love.
Yeah.
By two people who are friends in podcast.
Yeah.
So much parallels.
Yeah, it is. It would be
Yeah, totally.
everything in relationships, friendships, family, all of it really, like I said, communication is like the paramount piece. Even with Omid, like, you know, I know I have like 4 things I have to get this guy right now. So as he was saying that, but I texted him when I was like, yo, it's my brother's wedding right now. I was like, I'm slammed. I was like, I promise you I'll get back to this. Like, I did not forget. I was like, I will get it done. And he's like, cool. He's like, I'll get, like, just let me know when you're free. Let's get it done, right? And like pretty much right after this, I'm probably gonna go home. I'm gonna go on this guy's laptop. We literally have not had a second to spare. It's been madness.
See,
I've been here since July 9th, and I've probably seen you guys like 3 times, and that was for wedding events. It was rowdy. So
I'm notorious in following up with people, so don't feel.
no, but it was
don't-
good. It was good when you followed up. I was like, yo, this is where my head's at. I was like, I'll let you know, and we were good to go, right? Like,
Yeah.
you didn't. It wasn't like, hey man, like fuck you.
Yeah,
Why are you leaving me on? Like
Fuck
this?
you, it's the yeah. Distract.
I'm releasing it. Fuck out.
I see the distract. Yeah.
That's amazing.
That's so
I just check on Spotify when I'm like, oh, I didn't see this in the discography. That's interesting. Those jokes.
No, you guys all make such good points. It's the ability to have someone who holds you accountable.
Yeah, man.
If I didn't do this with Qashus, I'd probably have 2 podcast episodes out. And you could probably only hear half.
Yeah,
And the other
and the
half
hungry.
would be like,
The hungry part is really important too, because we'll punch in the bar like 15 times just to get it perfect. And he'd be like, how's that? And if I said, yeah, I think that's fine, let's just use that. We're not pushing each other, man. We're not pushing each other. If I say, dude, I think you can do better, then he's like, you know what? I can do better. And then he goes back into the microphone and does it better.
Exactly.
And if we think the 50th time is going to be better than the 49th time, then let's do it the 50th time, right? We're here right now. Let's do
get
it.
it done.
So I think that's a super important thing, to have that person with you or have people around you like that.
Yeah.
yeah, you communicate, you grow together, and you're started like what's really unique about the new layer Qashus and I developed is we started investing our own personal time and finances into what one another do for a living. And I'm not saying that directly made an impact on our relationship with growing the podcast. It indirectly grew it. Because to a degree now, what ended up happening, that thing's gonna just
Tickled my ear, bro. Just give me a little kiss right here. I was like, oh dear, who's there?
What ended up happening is we started to get comfortable calling each other out on each other's shit. And that's a new layer, that's a new ground him and I have discussed. Where that's the thing about communicating and growing together is it's not because we're putting ill will towards one another. It's just now we've developed an understanding of a client to a trainer relationship and then a client to director relationship. But that's
Totally.
where we now gain more respect on what one another do now outside of that.
Yeah.
100%.
And that's just another way of looking at being with someone in something.
Yeah.
Is once you see a new side of them, or once you start having different layers of conversation and going back and forth, you start to really see like where that person comes from and how they live life.
Yeah.
Right? Because we're all human, but we all walk very different days.
Yeah.
And we all wake up to the sun, but through the process of doing so, different things happen in someone's day. To have them now look at things in a different lens. So it's cool to then just shake that up, because then, you argue that how you listen to a song, and how you interpret lyrics, it's the same lyrics, but you're gonna treat that shit different.
Exactly.
You're gonna like a song, you're gonna say you like it for very different reasons.
Yeah.
But then now, through the creation of it, it's like, it's magic.
Yeah, it's magic.
You realize that there's gonna be people just like both of you, or more like one or the other, that are gonna just
Love it.
they're gonna love it.
Yeah, exactly. And the best part about putting music out there is that people can really appreciate it for whatever they want, right? I could have dropped Closure, and like you said, you like to run to Far Away. Wild. I can't believe that. I still can't believe it. Now that even
We're
now
gonna talk
saying
about
it
that
again, I'm
after.
like,
I gotta put you on some other
I'm
shit.
like, let's go do some test flight stairs. I want to see how you actually run to this. Like the BPM is a little slow.
When I'm going really slow.
You're like, far away. I was like, what is it looking like, man? Like, that was wild. But yeah, I don't know, man. It's just fun, and I think, dude, even on a personal level, like, Risham doesn't even know this yet, but like, leading a month or a month and a half, maybe or so, leading up into us coming to Edmonton together for my brother's wedding. Risham had been so busy, and we hadn't gotten a chance to connect much, and it was just so tough. And I was like, man, I'm gonna have a talk with him that, like, we should connect a little bit more. We should, see each other more. And before I even had a chance to have this talk with him, I think it was like the first or second night he was here. We were driving, and he was like, man, I've been absent. And I was like, yeah, man. I was like, and he's like, yeah, like, he's like, I'll do better, man. He's like, all you need to know is like, I'll do better. He's like, I'll be around. And I just, like, in my head, I'm just like, well, that settles that. I was like, that was incredible. I was like, man, I was feeling the same way. I was like, yeah, man, that's perfect. I was like, I have no doubt, because we were able to communicate. You know what I mean? And so that's the last I'll say about communication. I think you're gonna be able to get like a soundboard. Communicate.
Yeah.
Communicate. Communication.
No, it's true though. Like that was like that one time when I went to you and I was like, man, I'm sorry. I feel like I've been so busy that I put second floor down to the last thing on my list. Sometimes one another will recognize that they won't, but it must feel good when you hear that, or you express it.
Yeah.
Because then both parties recognize that.
Yeah.
One person might carry the weight, another might another time. Life happens.
100%. There was this time where I was free, but then you're Slime Bhullar, and I was like, bro, where are the songs? I'm sending you 10 beats a week.
Yeah.
I'm not hearing anything back. And then there's a time where I'm like, I haven't sent him any beats, and he's sent me songs to get mixed and mastered, and I haven't touched
Yeah,
it.
it happens.
But it's like we work through it, and at the end of the day, man, we're brothers, right? So like we're blood related brothers.
Yeah, exactly.
And we're not gonna let anything get in between
Yeah,
us.
exactly.
But that's why marriage is very important. Right? You never do thing one, you don't need place. You need a pair, right?
Yeah, that's so true. That's so true.
Okay, bro.
Wow, we came full circle, didn't we? Yeah, we came full circle.
Get that beard on. Why it doesn't matter. You want to do a range podcast marriage? No problem. Get like all these names in a hat. Pick it. That's it.
Can happen.
No, I believe you should.
What?
I don't think you should.
Just pick a random, arranged marriage?
Make sure you pick and choose. One of the best things I heard, I don't know if I told you this. If you're gonna go into business with somebody, don't just do it off of you being like, you wanna make money? I wanna make money too. You like music? I like music too. Should we be business partners? shake on
No,
him.
you have to be borderline in love with
Business
them.
partners before hearing the guy rap.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That shit
exactly.
happens,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Go to the mountains with that fucker.
Yeah.
Right?
Dude, you have to be in love with them.
To the mountains
Yeah.
with him. Get to know him. Get to know when he wakes up, what he does.
You have to love them.
Right? Does he shit before he eats? Okay, that's gonna tell you something.
Is that bad?
I don't know. I just wanted to say that.
Shit before you eat.
But you
I mean, as long as you wash your hands, I feel like that's a perfectly acceptable thing to do. You know what I mean?
But the idea is you gotta make sure you know who you're walking in.
Yeah, absolutely,
So
man.
have a vetting. Have a little bit of a vetting.
Yeah, it's like a marriage, man.
Exactly. You don't want to
Yeah.
jump in.
No, you can't, man. You gotta be careful. There's probably like 3 people on planet Earth that I would start a business with, actually. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people that can like, 3. I'll say 4. But yeah, like people that would actually consciously start a business with. Otherwise, like it takes a while to get to that level. It takes a while to really bring that, right? Sometimes there's people where it's just synergistic. You can meet people and it can come together. But if you really want, if it's someone that's like your friend or your family, you have to really make sure, because either you're going to destroy that relationship or you're going to be successful. Or there's a third chance where it does dissolve, but and it works out just fine. But that means if it dissolves and it works out just fine, then both of you guys weren't really that driven to get it in the first place, because one of you guys is going to be heartbroken if it dissolves and it didn't go where it needed to go. So at the end of the day, you just have to be really sure who you go into business with, man.
Yeah, I would actually recommend not going into business with anyone. I actually would just go solo and then maybe find investors or people that are outside of your network.
Well, I'll be the co-host now. Don't worry.
All right, I'm out. No,
Going back to the first floor.
I say it. Yeah. No, I say it because I've been in with my business. I had a partner, right? And before that, there were starting smaller businesses that I thought were going to actually manifest, and they didn't. And it was all because I was the driving force behind it. I was the one showing up. I was the one staying Sunday night till 9, 10 o'clock at the office, right? And that resentment started building up of like, yo, y'all aren't here. Like, it's split between the 4 of us or the 2 of us. Like, you should be here still building the business. And I think the reason this podcast works, the reason, anything that I do now is like I want to look at the other person's behavior patterns. What have they done over the last couple of years, or where are they at? What are their traits? You know what I'm saying? Like, if they're not hungry for their own small things, they're probably not going to make this happen either. Like, if they can't run with something on their own, they're probably not going to be able to run with this. Unless, again, it's just homies and you want to start something fun and, it's a hobby thing, it's a side hustle thing, no problem. But if you're shooting for the stars, like...
You need equal levels of commitment.
Yeah. And then that's hard to find. It's very hard to find.
Yeah,
So,
it's easy to say, hard to find.
Or even if like I've had some people that are like, hey man, like let me like if I do something, they'll be like, let me just do it with you, and I'm like, if I'm at a place where I'm doing it on my own and someone else wants to come in, if they think I'm doing well, they're like, oh, let me just like stand by and I'll just
Latch on.
Yeah.
I'll just latch on, right? And it's like, well, no.
Get off my titty, baby. I don't want you here. Get off
Get off my titty. I love that.
that's great.
And that's the next
But it's
song.
like I think every successful person will go through that. That someone else sees you doing something, they're like, you know what, I'm not doing anything right now. Should I hop on this bandwagon?
Yeah.
And I think when you're successful, you have to say no to those people and welcome the people that are actually wanting to make a difference.
100%.
Yeah. Yeah.
This has been a slice.
This has been beautiful.
You know what? We're an hour in. I really appreciate you guys being here. We asked everybody this question. We're gonna ask you guys before we roll out. Is what do you believe it takes to be on the second floor in life, in music, whatever it is that you have passion in? What does it take based off your experience to not just be on the podcast, but like be on the second floor of life? When you always take it the next step further. When you're always elevating, what does it take in your opinion to always take it to that next level?
I think the biggest thing is take solace in the fact of when you are comfortable and when you are happy, but never really truly be fully comfortable. Really push it to the next. Always be looking for that next thing. Not so much to the point where you're never content. You have to find that happiness and that contentment within yourself, and you have to find that. But then professionally, whether it be or creatively or whatever it is that you want to do, always try to grow, always try to get better. You know what I mean? Try to take it to the next level. Me and this guy, work on songs. Like Sundown, we made that song. We're like, I don't know how we're gonna top this. We're like, we listened to that. We're like, I don't know how. And then we made the next song. And we're like, we topped it. Good to go. We're good to go. Like good stuff, right? And so it's like it's just constantly wanting to get better, having that drive, right? Our mixes weren't always that great. Risham spent literal hours, probably days or weeks, like on mixing. And I mean, when I say days or weeks, I mean this was spread over the course of a year. But this guy would spend like full blocks of time at just learning how to mix, master, engineer, you know, on top of making beats and stuff like that. And he really wanted to push it to that next level. And it made me want to, you know, take the lyrics, to the flows. I studied cadences and so many different things. And it makes me want to take it to the next level. The melodies, everything that you can do with music creatively, it just makes you want to take it there. So I think anything you want to do in life, to really take it to be on the second level, is to want to be on the third, and then to want to be on the fourth. You have to keep trying to push it, you know what I mean? And then keep going to the next level until you're Bill Gates or Jeff Bezos. Honestly, I don't even want to be those guys. If you're a billionaire, you're fucked in the head. Okay, just so you know that. Okay? Like, yeah, exactly. If you're a billionaire, something's wrong with you. You screwed some people over to get there. I want you to find me one honest billionaire, and I'll walk out right now. Okay, but you will not buy one. Yeah. What do you think?
For me, I would say, yeah, man, you got to work on yourself. Always be the best version of yourself. Have the right attitude. Attitude will always help in life. And I think just building yourself and being hungry for what's next. I try to grow up. I always get excited when I wake up tomorrow, for when I will wake up tomorrow, because I'm gonna be like, what more am I gonna know tomorrow that I didn't know today? And life is a learning experience, and you gotta enjoy it, and you have to just push yourself. So I think that's what it takes.
Damn, that's beautiful. All right, boys, I think we're going to wrap it up. Where can people find you, Avinash? Beats by Ray, where can people find you?
Find me on Instagram, Amon Music. That's AMAAN Music. Just because people forget. And it's my rap name is Avi, not Amon. Just a little side note. So you can find me there, and there's a link tree with all the stuff in the bio. I also want to give a quick shout out to his sister, whose birthday it is. One of our biggest fans and supporters, Mon Poetry. She's a poet herself, an incredible creative outlet. Like she's truly a gifted poet, and I love watching everything she puts out there. So happy birthday to you, Monroop, and you're awesome. Mon Poetry, same 2 A's, 1 N in the Mon. We're not Jut. No, I'm kidding. I don't care what the cast system. But
yeah, 2 A's, 1 N. It's like the saying in our family. Like it's just that's just how it goes. For me, you can find me at Beats by Ray 6. You can find our music out on my profile, and if you want to chat, just hit me in the DM.
That's it. That's a wrap. Season 2 finale.
that was beautiful.